Come all young sailormen, listen to me. I'll sing you a song of the fish in the sea. Blow, ye winds, westerly, westerly blow. We're bound to the southward, so steady she goes.
Okay, our first performer didn't give me a bio sheet, but he's homegrown. He's from this area. He's been fishing, I know just from him filling in a little bit ago, for 30 years from somewhere in California, Bodega Bay, I heard, all the way up to the Bering Sea. He knows about things that happened in a little town I live in Kaufman Cove, so that's pretty cool. He also told me, here's how local he is. He told me right in that front seat right there, he sat with his 11-year-old girlfriend, and she gave him a red hot right here. A sticky red hot right there. So please welcome Danny Kaiser.
All right, we're going full rubber jacket on this one. As you can see, I went outside and I put on my gear. I don't get to wear the gear very often nowadays. It's been almost 2 full years since I've stepped foot on the ocean. Now, as Doug shared, and I shared before, born and raised right here in Astoria, Oregon. I live in Chinook, Washington at this time, which is a small little unincorporated community just across the Astoria-Megler Bridge. You go over the bridge, take a left, go through the tunnel, and that is the town of Chinook. Now, coming here this evening, and every time I travel across the Megler Bridge, I cannot believe what a beautiful commute I have. Coming across this evening, I could see the glow of the sun going down. The town of Astoria in all its glory, and it could very well be the town of my youth from a distance. Behind the town, in all her majesty, is Saddle Mountain. And as I look to my left, I can see the glow of Mount St. Helens. And then as I look to my right, I can see the graveyard of the Pacific. One of the most beautiful places on the planet, as far as I'm concerned. I played football at John Warren Field. The banks of this river are literally painted with the blood, sweat, and tears of my family. My father and my mother worked for Bumblebee Seafoods, which was the last salmon cannery on the Columbia River, closed in 1979. My mother's side were fishermen, gill netters on this mighty river along with Alaska. This river truly was their dream. And becoming a fisherman as a young man was truly one of mine. I was literally born just around the corner at St. Mary's Hospital. Now, the first piece that I'm going to share is Yesterday. As I long for the ocean and stand near the shore, flooded with memories, left wanting for more. From the banks of this river, so close to my home, to the far-reaching places, so cold and alone. I was born around the corner, and just a few blocks up the street, my father was the foreman. He worked for Bumblebee. My mother's side were fishers. This river was their dream. Clifton was the town. Marinkovich was the name. A family catching salmon. Legends in the game. I'd watch the men unload their catch. Sweet smell of money is what they said. I had a skiff and a piece of net. My drift, it was an inside set. As summer would near, ready the gear. North to Alaska, the men would all disappear. I would dream of going with one day, but that bumblebee would up and fly away. When they shut down Elmore, Astoria died a bit that day. Hitching a ride with that big B, well, San Diego and Hawaii were just two of the stops for me. Yet destiny would have its way. I would come home to fish one day. And my first drift when I came back was right on this river with my Uncle Jack. Yet that was not enough for me, so I packed my bag for the Bering Sea. The Maverick, you see, was just the boat for me. Definitely not the biggest, but tough nonetheless. No matter the weather, up to the test. Catching more crabs than boats twice her size. This was just the beginning of a long, crazy ride. Bristol Bay in the summer, a reprieve from the cold. Buried in salmon and dripping with sweat. Fish are so thick, we need a new net. It took me a bit, but I soon figured out halibut and black cod, that's what it's about. Baiting the hooks and hauling the gear. I fished Dungeness when I had some spare time, yet all of the money was in the hook and the line. The boat, I found out, was a safe place for me. I seemed to fit in with this rowdy bunch, fist fights in the morning and drunk before lunch. We all have a reason for choosing this life. Some claim the freedom, some claim the wife. When I look back and take it all in, the home of my youth no longer is. The pilings mark what now is gone. Getting much older, I have some regrets. Yet given the chance to do it again, I'd be back on that ocean. You bet you, my friend. Now, I always have been dragging my knuckles across the back deck. Now, I know every boat needs a captain, but those boots on deck are the engine that drives the machine. As I shared earlier, the dreams of commercial fishing inspire dreams among these men on deck, whatever they may be. Although you have very little control over your schedule. When are you going to get to go home? How long are we working? All of those decisions are normally made from the wheelhouse. But I tell you what, the bond that exists between those men on deck can never be broken. Many of the men I've walked the decks with no longer are here. It's a brutal industry, and it takes its toll on these men. But as I said, the boots on deck are the machine. Who are the men who risk the most? They wander the deck, much like a ghost. The boots they wear are just like them, extra tough in the ice and the wind. We work the deck and haul the gear. When the crabs are thick, we root, we cheer. The days are short and the nights are long. Through freezing spray and sleepless nights, through the pain and exhaustion, you must keep up the fight. The deckhand, he dances to his own special song. A dime a dozen, some captains say. My gear, my boat, we do things my way. A good crew can be hard to find, and a good captain knows where to draw that line. Can you haul them faster? He yells from upstairs. Well, I've never seen a pot hauled from that bastard's chair. The deckhand's life, I know it well. No place for man, a frozen hell. The ocean spits out a broken bunch, 5-star hotels and high-end scotch. Come noon the next day, you can't afford lunch. We save for tomorrow, we fish for today. The pots keep on coming, there's bugs on the run, stuffing the hold we never had so much fun. More crabs in the tank? That's more cash in the bank. You must find a reason for choosing this life, so far from our family and all those we love. The family at home waits by the phone. When will Daddy call? When will he be home? The season has been so long. We don't have much left. Our energy's gone. One thing you know for sure, your brothers have your back, standing at the rail or way up on the stack. When all is said and done and the gear is on the beach, you feel it deep inside. The end is within reach. Now, the Bering Sea crab fisheries of the early 90s were every bit the heyday of the king crab fisheries of the late 70s. If you can imagine, the Apelio quota was 300 million pounds. Young men were racing to Alaska with dreams of getting rich. Yet there was just one catch. There's a very good chance you may die trying. Now, this industry will test every fiber of your being. There will be moments on deck when you feel like you have nothing left to give, when you cannot move forward one more step, and giving up is your next best option. But somehow you reach deep inside yourself and you find that strength. That strength is Bering Sea strong. Now, many of these men chased their dreams all their life, many of it unrealized. The implementation of the Bering Sea Crab Rationalization Program in 2005 essentially ended this dream for many men. It made the fishery inaccessible. We went from a fleet of 250 boats to 56 in just 1 year. These men were wandering around the docks, wondering what their next step would be. These men would not just be satisfied with any fishery. What they had given, they could never get back. Now, this next piece is Bering Sea strong. They are the beasts that roam out west, tougher and stronger than all the rest. As the ice appears and the nights wear on, this life, it plays a wicked song. So much more than just a physical test. It's a will to survive and be your best. Of all the men who ride these waves, there is one stat we all look at. Some of these men, they're not coming back. Every year we ring the bell. We close our eyes as they begin to swell. The children ask and wonder why. Why my father? Why? Oh, why? We never got to throw the ball, the hugs and kisses. We will miss them all. I've known the pain of losing friends. I've had my tears freeze for them. Yet there is one thing that we must do, and that's haul the next pot and push on through. Now, it's not always the sea that takes these men. Some of us are just lost deep within. We cannot find peace upon dry land, and these other fisheries, they don't test our hand. So for all those men, both here and gone, fair winds, smooth seas, forever on. Now, I want you to remember to never forget, because I promise you there will be moments when life will test every fiber of your being. And in those moments, you will have to look deep within yourself. And that's when you will discover that we are all Bering Sea strong.
The fire burns bright in the farmhouse fireplace. Closing the logbook, you start to sing. Fishing boats are iced in, snow outside calls me. It's a red late afternoon, I hear a church bell.